Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's winter weather update. So, our first major snowstorm of the Northeast is headed towards the region, and looking at the 12Z run of the GFS model, our storm is currently bringing moderate to heavy snow across portions of Colorado and New Mexico this afternoon. Progressing the model through the evening, snow is going to move into the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle, and southwestern Kansas as we go through the overnight. And then through the overnight, snow is going to spread across central southern Kansas, northern Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, with rain across eastern Texas and southern Oklahoma. And then as we're waking up tomorrow morning, going to be waking up to snow in portions of central eastern Kansas, southwest Missouri, northern Arkansas, rain across western Louisiana, south central Arkansas. And then our system is going to dissipate and reform across the Gulf, bringing heavy rain to the south, snow moving into Indiana, Ohio, eastern Kentucky, going into Saturday morning. And then as we go into when you're waking up, we're going to be seeing freezing rain across western North Carolina, western Virginia, perhaps eastern Kentucky, with snow across Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia. And then as we start going in through the morning into the early afternoon, this is when snow is going to move across northern Virginia into central northwestern Maryland, south central Pennsylvania. Noticing since yesterday, could see some snow in Washington, D.C., depending on how far south this system goes. Going through the afternoon, could see a switch to freezing rain across northern Virginia, western Maryland, with snow moving into New York City and Philadelphia, transitioning to rain through the overnight. And New York City is going to be a very tough forecast, as you're going to be right on the dividing line between the rain and the snow going into Sunday morning. However, the latest GFS really intensifies our nor'easter as it moves south of Long Island into Sunday morning. And we keep seeing very heavy snow and strong winds across southeastern New England, New York City, New Jersey. Boston could be seeing very heavy snow with very strong winds Sunday morning into the afternoon. And this will last all the way through Sunday evening before our nor'easter pulls away by Monday. So taking a look at our latest snowfall accumulation map from the 12Z run of the GFS model, we can expect about a dusting to 2 inches across the Great Lakes and Midwest. However, focusing in on the Northeast, about 2 to 6 inches across northeastern West Virginia, with pockets as high as 9 inches, western PA about 2 to 6 inches, and then northern Maryland 2 to 6 inches. However, as we start going into eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, central New York State, widespread 6 to 12 inches is going to be likely in the GFS model. And then southeastern New York State, far northern New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, northern Rhode Island, we could be seeing as much as 12 to 18 inches of snow in this 12Z run of the GFS model. And once again, New York City, you're right on the dividing line. You could get as little as 1 inch or as much as 6 inches, depending on where the snowfall line sets up. About 2 to 4 inches across Long Island, and potentially as much as 14 inches in Boston if this run of the GFS model verifies. Now, taking a look at our ice accretion map, we're going to be seeing quite a little bit of an ice storm across Virginia, western North Carolina. With this storm, could be seeing a glaze to 1/10 of an inch of ice across western North Carolina, far northeastern Tennessee, far southwestern Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, far western Maryland. However, going into western northern Virginia, southeastern West Virginia, could be seeing as much as 1/4 of an inch, with pockets as high as 1/3 of an inch of ice accretion from this winter storm. So make sure you're preparing for an ice storm, especially across western northern Virginia and southeastern West Virginia from the winter storm. Now, taking a look at the European model for snowfall accumulations, 12Z run of the Euro shows a widespread 2 to 6 inches from western North Carolina through western Virginia, and about 7 to 9 inches across northeastern West Virginia, western Maryland, going into eastern Pennsylvania, a good 6 to 10 inches of snow, And once again, the European model is bullseyeing areas of southeastern New England and New York State, bringing as much as 12 to 15 inches of snow to these areas. And New York City, in the European model, gets 11 inches, but once again, depends on where that line sets up. Boston gets about 9 to 10 inches in the 12Z run of the Euro. Now, taking a look at our most exciting model, the Canadian model. Canadian model is bringing widespread 6 to 12 inches of snow across northeast West Virginia, far northern Virginia, western Maryland, central Pennsylvania, through New York State. But the a Canadian model is bringing as much as 12 to 24 inches of snow across portions of Maine and New Hampshire, with about 12 to 18 inches in Vermont, western Massachusetts, and northern Connecticut. So the Canadian model verifies you'll be getting a whole lot of snow across New England, New York, into Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. The one thing I do notice about the Canadian model is it keeps the snow just north of New York City and Boston right on the dividing line. So it is still possible that you could miss out if you live in New York City, unfortunately. So make sure you're really paying attention to the forecast if you live in New York City. Now, looking at our National Weather Service's watches, warnings, and advisories map, we have a lot of winter weather advisories across portions of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, into Utah, California, especially across eastern Arizona, southern Colorado, northern New Mexico, the Texas Panhandle, northern Oklahoma, much of Kansas, southwest Nebraska, into Arkansas with our ongoing winter storm, as well as northeastern Minnesota in the purples, and winter storm warnings across northern New Mexico, far western Oklahoma, far northwestern Texas Panhandle, and the Sierra Nevada in the pink. We have winter storm watches now from North Carolina through Virginia, West Virginia, western Maryland, Pennsylvania, into northern New Jersey, New York, southern Vermont, New Hampshire, into all of Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, as well as portions of western Oregon in the dark blue. And then we have some freeze watches and warnings across southern Arizona and a couple of wind advisories. And unfortunately, the storm, even though it's going to be minor, also going to have a severe side, the marginal risk of severe weather along coastal Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, western Florida into tomorrow. And this includes a 2% chance of tornadoes touching down within 25 miles of a location in areas like New Orleans through Mobile, through just west of Tallahassee, and a 5% chance of damaging winds within 25 miles of a location for these same areas tomorrow in the marginal risk. And then going into Saturday, marginal risk across most of Florida and the southeastern Georgia of severe weather. So make sure you're preparing for this very impactful winter storm, especially if you live across New England and the Northeast. And I'll really be focusing in on the second storm after this storm exits the area. Thanks for watching this evening's weather update. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.